Hello there, how are you? Okay, I promised that well, I didn't promise, but I said that we were going to be doing this. So what we need to do now is work on detail, rivets, and all those kind of sexy things that are going to make this look so nice. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to get a box, and I'm just going to draw it out from here on the floor, and drag it all the way up, just till it's in the right area, which is there. And right click, convert to editable polygon. Don't know if you expected the tutorial set to go on this long when you hopefully purchased it, but I had a feeling when I started doing it that it was going to be a detailed job. And this is the first, most detailed tutorial I have made since 2008, when I did Robocop. I think it was Robocop. I've been kind of bandying about doing less detailed sets for a while, and I don't know, maybe I lost heart doing big tutorial sets, so it's nice to just sit down and do these. Anyway, I do apologise, I'm rambling. I do that from time to time. Right, what I need to do is make some spikes and some rivets. I know I have rivets down there on the thing that I can use. I might use them, I haven't decided yet. I think what I want to do though is create some new pieces. So I'm going to start with a sphere. No, cylinder, yes. Put auto grid on, and I'm just going to drag it out to any old size. I'm not fussy. Okay, so this is going to be a spike. Convert to editable polygon. Zoom in a bit and just have a look at that. Now, it's only got 18 sides, and I've already made a mistake and put too many height segments in. There we go, 18 sides. Convert to editable poly. I need to take the back off, because otherwise, when I apply turbo smooth, it'll curve underneath. I'll have to put extra polygons in, and it's just silly doing it that way. And I'm going to start building this one in a much more basic way than I usually do. So I'm just going to come up like this. And the secret to making a good spike is, if you've ever seen, and some of you'll go, oh, this is funny, and other people go, that's horrendous, a butt plug. I saw one once when I was going through the Netherlands, and I was like, what in the Christ is that? It looked like one of the things from the end of your bed. But sharpen it, and it makes a rather good looking spike shape. So that's what we're going to make. So you can either say, oh, we're making butt plugs, or you can go, we're making a shape. If your other half's about to come in, it's definitely a spike. That's where we'd go to if it was the butt plug. But that's where we're going to, because it's a spike. Okay, and I'm going to leave that little bit there on the top, see that? And now I'm going to go around it, just using a swift loop, because it's important for me to define certain edges on this, so that it maintains this sharp looking profile. Because I only want one iteration of turbo smooth, but that's going to be enough, quite frankly, to make this thing, a little bit crazy. Okay, I think another one around the edge. Now, I was going to have rivets kind of holding it in place, but sometimes you don't need to, I don't think. Okay, and if I just do a turbo smooth just to see how that looks. Yeah, that's nasty. Okay, that'll do. It shouldn't make me giggle as much as it does, but it does. Right, so that's one piece, okay? And yeah, I love that. For all the wrong reasons. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a cylinder. And this will just be our basic kind of little rivety thing. Now there's all kinds of different rivet shapes we can have. Rivets can be rounded, or rivets can be kind of this shape here, or they can be a hybrid of the two. Now if we can do a hybrid of the two, interestingly, what I'll do is I shall create a sphere. Just bring it out like that, and make the segments, rather than 32, maybe 24. We don't need too many segments on this. And then I'm going to right click, and before I do, I'm going to hemisphere it. So hemisphere 0.1, sorry, 0.5. Right click, convert to editable polygon. Now what I can do here is I can take this edge and loop it and go to my top viewport. Now I want the loop on this to be the same width as the underside. It is a little bit fiddly, but you can do it if you want. So bring it in. That should be it. Okay, perspective and zoom. Not even close. Good God almighty. What did I have selected? I don't think I even had the right bit selected, did I? Oh, hate when that happens. You know, I've just created this beautiful butt plug, which, you know, is like a tutorial unto itself, really. Things I have to do. Right, I'll just select all the polygons that make up this. Yoink. Control I, delete the back off. There we go. Get this loop, which is our border, top viewport zoom. Right, now I should be able to do it. Oh, for God's sakes, stop it. There. Okay, now perspective zoom. I know this seems like a piss on way of doing things, and it really is, but it works. Okay, now I'm going to select this, and I'm going to ring, and then I'm going to just this one. Ring. There. Control select by polygon, and then I can extrude it by local normal and nothing else, and I've made a kind of exciting hat. Click tick. Click tick for a quick trick. Oh, sounds like a Dr. Zeus book, doesn't it? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my swift loop, because again we don't care about how many polygons we're using in the slightest. Now remember, there's polygons underneath this, so either you want it to curve underneath slightly, which is a cool thing to do, or you want to get rid of the polygons if you're considering saving space. Turbo smooth, what you'll see is it curves underneath like that, so we get a nice little shape, and we've got that, which is it's a bit like those sweets we have in the UK. Come on, flying saucers, that was them. Okay, and yeah, the shape's okay, I'm going with that. Convert to editable poly, zoom in, yeah, 4. That'll do. Right, so with these two fun, funky little shapes going on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to align them to this. That means they both appear down there where they need to be, albeit one's on top of the other. There we go, so that's two more fun and funky tools. Now let's see what else we've got down here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my object paint, and I'm going to open up my object list, and I'm going to start picking things to go onto my object list. So the butt plug, flying saucer, the teeny weeny screeny rivet, the highly decorative rivet, tempting, should I? I'll decide at the time. So we've got these pieces here. Now, up here where this is, zoom, it's up to you whether or not you want to leave edged faces on. Edged faces makes it, like I've said before, a heck of a lot easier. Now I'm going to paint with objects in my list, and I'm going to paint on anything I have selected. Maybe, yeah, selected objects for the moment. Okay, so now, as you can see, I can just paint my big damn bolts onto this. Okay, so let's get the butt plug first, because butt plug. And apart from laughing, because it's funny, I'm going to basically have them on this, here, and here. And I can really zero in exactly where they're going to go, which is a help. So that our giant dildo robot, God, why do I find this so funny? Honestly, it flipping kills me when I make things like this. Okay, I know it's not really a dildo robot, but that's not the point. It's our entertainment here. You know, you gotta have some entertainment. We've been doing this for a while, and they fit really nicely. So there you go. It's like a walking advert for Dutch sex toys. God, this is killing me. Okay, one there, and I think one there. There we go. Okay, so they look good. Mustn't snigger. Now I'm going to paint again, so I just turned it off and turned it on again. And this time I'm going to go down the back and I'm going to change the scale on these to maybe about 140, because that will make them a lot bigger. And just to be careful, because I don't want to get too much of a space underneath these. Yeah. So there we go, one there. And I'm going to try and position them kind of as accurately spaced apart as possible. Because they'll look good that way. And don't worry if they're slightly, what's the word I'm looking for? Proud. That's it, proud. Proud. I'm proud of, oh God, I'm dying here. Proud of the shape. They're, you can just use local to just grab it and stuff it back in again. Oh God, I'm dying. Right. See, this is the problem with British humour. You think to yourselves, oh, those British with their clever Benny Hill. We were just laughing at the tits, dude. And that bald guy slapping people on the head, being slapped on the head, that used to kill us. That was our Sunday afternoon entertainment right there. Okay, let's just make sure these are straight. They certainly seem to be, which is kind of good. I'm glad they are. Okay, now I'm going to go back and put them back to 100 again. The whole idea is these are kind of boarding spikes, you know. We don't want naughty boarders being able to get on board. Yeah, that's okay there. And if I do them on this, they're going to start twisting inwards, you see. So I think that won't work quite as effectively. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure that those ones in the front work too well anyway, so I think I'll probably just get rid of those. Okay, so this brings us down nicely to our sphere, which is that size. Now, the sphere is a little bit big, so I'm going to take it down to 50% of its original size. By doing so, I can literally just start attaching the rivets where they need to be. So I can have them come all the way back like that. They're a bit distracting like that, to be honest. I think the curved flying saucer ones, while they're nice, aren't as satisfying as the simple rivet, which I think probably is more suitable to what we need. So yeah, I think we're going to use the simple rivet. So I'm just going to pop these into here, just a nice shape. And now it looks like these are basically holding our panels in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again. I mean, I know it's not as quick as going 1, 2, 3, 4. I make it sound dead easy. Plus, of course, you've got to remember I've done this for 14 years. You know, I've been doing this. It's like my 44th birthday. That's the planned release date for this tutorial, is my 44th birthday. And I'm very, very hopeful that this will be ready in time. I think I'll use a larger one on there, so I'm just going to right click out, redo it again so I can reset my scale. And I've got this detailed inset bolt, or this detailed end cap, and I think the end cap, as long as it's not like standing too proud of the end, is ideal. So I'm going to stick one there and one there. Now I can put one there and one there, which is I think the same position. Yeah, I always prefer working with kind of symmetry in that respect. I'm not going to put too many on there because I think it looks silly, but maybe one there, there, and at the back roughly in the same position, there and there, because we don't need a shitload of extraneous detail. The whole shape and the fact that it's covered in big dirty spikes is probably going to be enough for us. Now we can I'm going to go back and do some more spikes, man. I've been looking forward to doing that. I'm going to put some spikes in there, so one there, Just want to see if these are going to be too dense. They don't look like it actually, they look okay. I quite like that. So again, do it the same here. And just pay attention to kind of where you're placing these. Like that. And then at the back, I'm loath to stick big spikes at the back. Not when I've got them all here. Looking spiky. Okay, come out of that. Let's have a look at this fella. Because, you know what? We put spikes on that bit, we may as well put spikes on this bit. Let's start with 150, which is what our middle spike was, if you remember. Find the middle area where it's going, and we'll put 2 on. 1, 2. And then come out, change my scale back to 100. Go back in drawing again. And 1, 2, maybe one in the middle, 3. Now it's quite hard getting that one in the middle there, let's see. It's more likely to be there, isn't it? Tell you what we'll do, I'll just get rid of that one. And there we go, that works better. And remember what I said, it kind of looks like a rhino shape when we do it this way, which is cool. I like the idea that it's kind of a rhino shape. Okay. Then we come down to this one. And with this one, you know, the spike again, 150. But only 1 this time. And I don't need to articulate these head plates. They look like they're articulated, but there's no point. I don't need to. So, find the middle part. And that's too close to that one. There, that's better. Need to really think about our spacing. Now I'm going to just reset it by clicking off and on again. And go back to 100. And we can just put 1 there. 1 there. Beautiful. Okay, so that gives us a rather nice kind of rhino-y hat thing going on. Now, I was considering putting those bolts in, but I don't know. I just don't think there's any point. I think it'd be overkill for what we have here, which in essence is like just really nice. It's came on really nicely. At the back, maybe an end cap, but what I could do is perhaps make it much bigger than usual. So we have this big detailed end cap just here. Just to see how well that lies against the side. And also make sure I get them in the right place. It's kind of important. Just hit F4. Yeah, that's okay. I can go with that because it's keeping our pattern the way it kind of should be. And the back's nice and smooth, which means it's not detracting from that. Okay, so now what I've got to do is obviously I've got to select all of our spheres and other gubbins. So I'm just going to start hiding stuff just for the moment. Because if I don't, we'll have some issues. Okay, we can see this is like all the stuff that we just had. You can actually see the shape of the torso through it, which is pretty cool. Now, there's a couple of bits down there. I'm going to ignore them for the minute, but I'll convert them to editable polys anyway. So, convert to editable poly. Now I'm going to unhide all. And let's go to our torso armour, which is just going to be attached to everything else. So now we're just going to use our attach tool and do this carefully as you can. Try not to giggle every time you attach a butt plug to your model. Just imagine this in, like, you know, Princess Graat or a little street just off the Grasshopper in Amsterdam. Look, me and my wife, we spent many a happy minute giggling outside the sex shop window at these fellas. And like I say, to the person who isn't listening to this part of the tutorial, they'll be like, oh, look at them scary big pointy things. To us it's like that's a lot of spikes, dude. Oh damn. Give a little stretch and a bend. I can't decide next, after I've done like a smokestack, if I'm doing oh, what do you call it? The head or the arms next. Haven't decided. I mean, the arms won't take too long, to be honest. The torso always tends to be a kind of major piece. I briefly described to you, obviously, that, you know, it's all too easy just to make a box shape, stick it on top of your beautiful legs. Go, there you go. We want something nice. Okay. I think smokestack, head, arms does seem a logical progression, to be honest. Okay. Let's attach that arm to it there. Now, hey down there, this armour has not been refined yet. Really smooth, isn't it? So, you know what we're going to do with this. And I'm not going to use this flying saucer because it's not what I need. So let's get our list out. There it is. And let's go up here to our chest plate. Kazoom. Pair 4. And paint on this. Now, gotta be careful. What's the first thing you're going to think about otherwise? We don't want it to look like nipples. Okay, so that's kind of important. Let's take it to 100s. I mean, are these going to be ramming tools? What are they going to be? I don't know. Got to be careful at the edge they're coming through as well, so they don't overlap too much. Okay, that seems like it matches up. And like I say, I'm not going to put them down the front middle because I think that looks silly. I am going to check the angles of these because these top ones there and there aren't matched. As you see, they're going off on a slightly different tangent. So I'm just going to have these three and then go back in here, and I think what I'm going to do is basically make it a kind of a waistcoat. So I need to paint on selected. You know how with a waistcoat you have buttons going up the side? Well, the front, so that's what I'm going to do here. Not to make it look like a waistcoat, but basically makes it look like that's kind of how it's fastened on. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my end cap. For detail, right click out, right click back in again, and again avoid going here and here because it'll look like a nipple. Instead I'm going to have two just there and no detail bolts on that part. Instead I'm going to have some simple rivets, again just here, 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 here. Check the angle they're at, they seem okay. So over here again. Here, 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 and here. Okay, that looks good. Good. Okay, now I need to just Basically select these. If you look, editable poly is in big text, convert to, becomes little text. Okay, so just go around and select all these fellas. Don't worry about selecting the wrong bit. All we're doing is just collapsing the stack anyway. And we're going to attach this all to the main mesh. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you want to, you can, you know, use the spikes to give it a ginormous cock. And you can use the detail rivet to give it 2 big nips. You know, but to be honest, it won't look very professional. Funny, yes. Professional, no. Okay, grab the chest plate. Let's start the attachment process. And I just tend to have a swing around just to make sure the pieces are kind of aligned properly, because it's really easy, especially if you've got kind of a lot of polygons in your model, to end up with a piece that isn't really aligned very well. If that's the case, all you do is you just select by element and just delete it. If you want to be extra cunning, you could even make broken variations of these. You know, take them in a mud box if you want, add some dents to it or whatever. That's what mud box is useful for, making dents. And then you can like have about 4 different variations of them, as long as you're remembering to rotate them on the Z-axis every now and again. You've got what would pass for a very high level of contrast, lots of different details going in. Okay, let's come back. So now we can see that our kind of warthog pattern armour here is working rather nicely. So let's go in. I don't need to do anything to this bottom plate here, because it'll just ruin it. So F4, attach, 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 attach. Hang on, go back, go back, go back. What are you doing? Unhide all. God's sakes, I don't know what it thought it was doing there, but it was getting a little bit silly. Right, let's attach this again. Unhide all. This looks like 3ds Max is having an issue that might need a tissue, as they say. I might just leave these unattached then, if it's going to be dicking around like this for the time being, because I'd rather not ruin these parts. Also, I could probably do with doing a reset X form on them. But before I do, what the hell, time to save. Okay, so we've came in quite a long way. Next part, I think, is the smokestacks, and after that, we will get busy on the, well, the other bits. So until then, see you next time.